Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to my Minecraft FTB series, and today we are back out at the village because I'm going to do some more testing thanks to some suggestions I got from the last video. But first I wanted to show you guys the Dragon Egg Energy Siphon. Now we made that a while ago and I'm pleased to finally report back that the flux it seems to create is nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. I feared that this thing would just be pumping flux out left and right, because I've never really done anything with the Dragon Egg before, but even though it does seem to have raised the flux in the area, it isn't really detrimental, so I will soon be moving this over to the Arcology as an extra source of power. I've got 4 MFSUs plugged into this thing, and every one of them is at a constant high charge, even with me using power over here for some of the machines that I still have left on this village area. But yeah, let's head over to the test site for today's episode, where we're going to be playing with Steve's carts. Now, I had several people suggest to me that I should take a look at this from my call out to all of you guys for suggestions. Now, my things that I was looking for were for research-based stuff for the Arcology, but you know what? Steve Carts is something I haven't really played with much before. I've done a little bit with it, but not a whole lot, and it actually does allow me to do something that I hadn't thought about so far. Now, one of the big things for this world is I've made sure that I am basically wanting for nothing. I've got things that automatically get me food, various materials. I've even played around with some basic experience farming things. There's really nothing that I need that I can't get very, very easily, except for wood. Anytime I want wood, I still head out with an axe. Well, not an axe, I actually use this now, but still, I head out and manually go break down trees. So what we're going to do today is build a basic tree farm using Steve's carts. Now, one thing about this mod is it is quite complicated with all the bits and bobs that have to be put together, so I've gone ahead and built all the things we need for today already, but I'll still show you the recipes. Of course, because, well, if you guys don't know the recipes, yeah, it'd probably be good to show it off to you a little bit. But the first thing we need, and the basic building block for everything in Steve's carts, is the assembler. Now, the recipe for the cart assembler is pretty simple. It's just 4 stone, 3 iron ingots, and 2 of these simple PCBs. Now, the simple PCBs, you're gonna need a lot of those. I've looked at a lot of these recipes in here, and darn near all of them need simple PCBs. So hopefully you have a lot of redstone, because it needs 4. Also 4 ingots of iron and 1 of gold. Pretty simple to build, and you just need 2 of those for this thing. And when you open it up, it brings up this huge interface. That's why I normally keep my GUI scaling to auto, because I really don't care. But if I have it to auto, this thing just fills up my entire screen, and it's actually a little annoying. So I had to turn down my GUI scaling manually. But this is the interface here. It's pretty simple. Yeah, you put charcoal in there to power it up, and then you put all of your different components in here to actually build your carts, and then you hit assemble to make it, and however many parts you have and the complexity determines how much time it will take, and it'll take a while apparently. But what we're going to need is these 4 basic things here: a standard hull, internal storage, a coal engine, and a woodcutter. So if we exit out of this, do the recipe for the standard hull, it's pretty simple. It's just 5 ingots of iron, 2 iron wheels, which are very, very simple, 1 iron ingot with 4 sticks, and there you go, you get a standard hull. Now for the internal storage, it's a little bit more complicated. You need a chest lock, which is just an iron ingot and a piece of stone, and you also need 8 of these chest panes, which is just a lot of wood and some planks. Well, actually more planks than wood, but yeah, you'll need a lot of wood to make this. But in return, you'll get a whole lot from this simple setup we're going to make today. Then you also need a coal engine. Now, I do have the materials to put together a solar engine, but since I'm really just doing the basics of this today, we're going to start with the coal engine as it is the basic engine for the mod, which is pretty simple. A furnace, 2 pistons, and 5 ingots of iron, and you're good to go with the coal engine. And finally, we have the woodcutter, which requires a woodcutting core, which is an advanced PCB made with 3 iron ingots, 2 simple PCBs, and 4 redstone. And hold on, let's go back to the recipe. And then a whole lot of saplings around it. And it can be any type of sapling. It doesn't really matter as long as it's, well, a sapling. You're good. So, and then also, need to go back to the recipe there. The 1 iron ingot and 5 of these saw blades, which is a diamond and 2 iron ingots. So you will need 5 diamonds, but if you've built my system that I have, that I showed in an early on episode, for making diamonds, that shouldn't be an issue. I've got, I think, a half a barrel full of diamonds. It's insane. I've got them coming out of my ears. It's great. So, if we just put all those into there, the standard hull up top, you see all these things open up, and the different hulls can have different attachments, so you can see that, like on engines, only 3 of these opened up. Beyond the more advanced hulls, you can have more different add-ons and all sorts of other stuff. So for the internal storage, that goes here in storage. The woodcutter goes into tool, and of course the engine for it to actually go just heads right there in engines. And that, oh man, is going to take 16 minutes for it to assemble. God, that's going to take a while. But you know what? It should be good. I'll cut, of course. I'm not going to sit here for 16 minutes. So let's just hit assemble, and it will start going, and it will use all this fuel in here. And then if it needs any more fuel, it'll grab it from that slot that I have the charcoal in. Let's put some more in just to be on the safe side. And while that's going, I'm just going to build a basic track now. I just have a whole load of track that I have at my disposal from a mine shaft that I went in long ago. So we're just going to plop all this stuff down in just a very basic little circuit that should work quite nicely. And I'm going to leave this spot open here because we're going to need a different block there. And what we're going to put is this cargo manager at that point. Now, the cargo manager is a little bit more complicated. You need these large iron plates, which are made from iron panes, which are made from, chest panes and iron ingots. And then we need the huge iron panes, which are just a lot more of them. And then this large dynamic pane, which is dynamic panes around redstone, and the dynamic panes are iron panes with a single block of redstone. So a bit more screwy to make, but still not too bad. And if we place that down right there, now you notice the color coding? That's for like the different actions that it can do. And so, like, all these here are programmable actions that this can accomplish. Now, if we... actually, let me change that back to what it... God, there's a lot of things in here. I did not realize how many things there were in here. As I said, I haven't really... I've played around with this a little bit, but not much. So let's have all of them to red. Since we are only going to have... Oh, nope, that's the color one. Since we are only going to have one side to this... And did I pass red? Nope, there it is. And for this one, now that should, we'll change it to, yeah, I believe that will load and unload fuel. I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that, I'll admit. But, okay, seeds, fertilizer, water buckets, saplings, fireworks. Fireworks, all slots. Engine. So yeah, this will this should allow us to transfer fuel into the engine, I believe, doing it like that. We'll find out later once we actually get the cart on this thing. As I said, I've messed with this a little bit, but not a whole lot, and that should just grab any slots and bring them in, so that should be good. Now, what we're going to need here is a basic advanced detector rail, which I'm just realizing I forgot to grab the materials for, so I may have to do a small cut here to get the pressure plates, iron, and redstone for this, because, yeah, that's all at the warehouse. I'll be back in a second. Okay, it took a little longer than I expected. It is back to daytime, which, hey, works for me. We don't have to work through the night then. I grabbed all the goods for that, and so, yeah, 6 iron, 2 pressure plates, and a redstone gets these advanced detector rails. It makes 2. So if we plop that right here, that should... Wait, oh no, they are all red. I guess the colors on the sides don't change. I didn't notice that before. Huh, okay. Well, also, in the time that it took me to get everything, it finished. Now, I already pulled it out of the assembler, not realizing, but yeah, it was finished up, so grabbed it out. We have this wonderful modular cart, and as you can see, it has on there that it has the standard hull, the coal engine, the woodcutter, and the internal storage. So, hopefully, that should work. So if we just place it there, we got a zombie somewhere. Huh. We've got the wonderful little cutting blades there, and if we just right-click, this is the very basics here. So the engine, we can put fuel into here. Now, I forgot to grab some saplings, but I don't think that should actually be a problem, since we did build it around a tree. I'm hoping we should get some here in a moment soon, so those will pop up there. You can put the saplings in that slot, and then all the wood and so forth will go into the internal storage. So if we just pop some fuel into there, it should start going, and it should start cutting up this tree, and it actually seems to have already placed a sapling that it got from the tree that it's cutting up right now, so that's cool. Alright, let's see what it looks like in the... Oh, wow, it's got a lot of saplings already. Holy crap. It's just getting saplings left and right. That is pretty cool. I like that. But yeah, so once it is done cutting down this tree, it should start moving around and planting the saplings around this track as it is doing right now. Let's get up in the air a bit. Ah, look at it go, just planting saplings. Can it not plant where there's grass? I'm kind of thinking that's the case, because it's only planting it in spots that do not have any. And it stopped here, and it didn't empty anything. Whoops, didn't mean to break that sapling. We'll just plop that down right there. So yeah, it stops whenever it hits that button, and it should be pulling... It is taking the fuel out and then putting it back in. I saw that. But it's not dumping out the wood. Let's change it to that. It put the charcoal in the internal storage. So that was a bit of a mistake. Oh wow, it's already cutting down another tree. Lovely. Okay. So... yeah, so it grabbed the coal, and it's just putting it there. So, okay, let's put it back to that. Put that one as in, and make that... whoop, I passed it. That the storage. Okay, yeah, it dropped off the wood. Excellent. Now, it's probably going to run out of fuel in a moment, but let's chuck the fuel in here. Did it take the fuel? It did! And it's in the engine slot. Oh god, along with the wood, along with the wood! I don't want it to take the wood! Okay, let's take the wood out. Okay, so it can use basically anything flammable for its engine, such as the wood. I thought I grabbed it in time, but I guess it must have taken it out as it was... I grabbed it as well. Grab it quick. There we go. Change turnback settings? No. So I'm wondering if we can get it some way to not put the wood in the engine slot, because I don't want it burning the wood. The whole point is for it to drop off the wood so that we can then grab it. But it is going quite nicely. It's grabbing fuel, putting it back into the right slot. It is going around in circles, planting the saplings and cutting down trees. So it is working, for the most part, as intended. If you know why it's trying to put the wood back into the engine slot, I would love to know. As I said, I've messed with this before, but only just. So I still am not extraordinarily knowledgeable and would love any tips on how to make sure that it doesn't put the wood into the engine slot. Then again, as I said, I do have plenty of materials to build the solar engine, which need said fuel, so I may just do that. But hey, if you have a good suggestion, I would love to hear it. But yeah, that should be it for this episode. We do have a very basic functioning tree farm. Now, I'll make it a lot bigger eventually and make systems to grab it all automatically, so it should be an actual fully functioning automatic tree farm system that then also shoves everything into my warehouse system. But that's for a later date. So, I do hope that you have enjoyed this episode and that you come back for the next. But until then, thank you for watching, my friends, and as always, have a good one.